Hello, everyone, and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager, Cordovan, and thank you very much for being here. Hopefully everyone can see and hear me okay. If not, let me know. Hey, Damien, David, Stephen, Christopher over on Facebook, Orion, Darnolf, Big Hansen over on Twitch. And I myself saw a YouTube video going, so I know that I'm going there. All right, so what do we got going on this week? Just a little bit of news to talk about. We can show off an upcoming patch that we have going on. I'll talk a little bit about the wrap-up of Extra Life and the continuation of Movember. And then finally, yesterday, I finally got an opportunity to semi-prepare a character and Valar that character up to level 120. And so I can start playing a little bit newer content. Now, I have not really explored on this person yet, but I do have their inventory taken care of. So, hey, that was a feat. And I'm basically ready to go on that as well. So, hey, something new to see if you want to. So we'll have that a little bit later on in the show. I just want to thank everyone for being here and to get to our first piece of news, which is that we've got a patch in the works. Now, stay tuned for an exact downtime, but potentially it could even be Monday. And I will get into it right now if I can. Let me see if I can. There we go. Pop it up to 200% so you can read it as well. And so these notes are not 100% final yet. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we got the exact build there yet. So some of this may not end up in the patch. Some things may end up in the patch that aren't yet in the notes, etc., etc. But at least as of Friday noon here today, this is where things sit for a potential patch as soon as Monday, maybe Tuesday, Monday-ish, as it goes. This is what we got planned for it. We're now getting some Minas Ithil crafted weapons, correctly carrying survivability-centered stat packages. The Relic of Minas Ithil will bind to account and acquire well-preserved, same. Pristine Relic, same. Level 95, crafted and reforged Bjorning's carvings of the 2nd and 3rd Age will now be able to be crafted with universal ingredient packs. Virtue XP accelerators now available in the store. That's just kind of the other piece. Fix an issue with Tier 3 Harrowing of Morgul, where the leading the charge deed was not applying correctly for all members of the Fellowship. Tier 2 and Tier 3 instance difficulties rebalanced a little bit. Ereblin, now I'm pretty sure that's specifically related to Minas Morgul related instances, but we'll double check on that. Ereblin now properly stocks jeweler recipe scrolls for crafting. Lost Lore, we fixed an issue with one of the pages of the Lost Lore. Relic of Minas Ithil stating the correct thing. Trial of Despair, no longer blocked, not a big way thing there. A little bit of work on the Filthwell instance, Deep Barrow instance, and fixed some text on the Gallmarks and Longbeard Marks of Embers to reflect the new quest now reward motes of enchantment rather than embers. The quest Gallmarks for motes now requires 55 Gallmarks to trade in, down from 75. That's 20 less. I fixed an issue in the Gorthid Nur instance where a monster meant for the 3-person was spawning in the solo. Oops! Squash! That'll be taken care of. Another minor issue, and then hey, this one's been bothering a whole bunch of us, so good to see this one get fixed. We were able to track down the, quote, floaty names issue, and that'll be fixed in our next game update, patch point 25.0.2, tentatively set for Monday-ish of next week. If it is going Monday, we'll probably know within the next 12 hours or so and get that posted up to you. All right. This new 120 will be interesting. Yeah, I know it will be. So who do I have here? None other than in the grand tradition of Dwinstrel the Dwarven Minstrel and Dwinstrel the Dwarven Runekeeper, because Dwoonkeeper didn't sound right. I now have Stampion, the Stoutaxe Champion. God, why am I like this? Yes, because I am. Anyway, so this making their grand debut in the Lord of the Rings Online is a Stampion, the Stoutaxe champion. Before I get to that, though, let me do one other piece of news, and that relates to Extra Life. This is the final weekend where I'm taking donations for the Extra Life Marathon. Now, this is fairly loose. If, for whatever reason, you want to make a last-minute donation or something like that, that's fine. We'll work it out. But that means that on Monday, I'm going to do the drawings for the collector's editions and points codes and all that other kind of stuff. That's going to take place on Monday, both for Lotro and the other game. So you have this weekend if you want to get in on that. All you need to do is a minimum $10 donation to extra-life.org/team/SSG. And thanks in large part to the tireless efforts of Team Lotro Stream and Standing Stone Games here. I believe it was during Stina's show this day before, that we crossed the $20,000 goal line. So that was a huge win for us here with Team Standing Stone Games. We're honored to be a part of it this year. Another successful Extra Life in the books, absolutely. But like I say, you do still have a couple days to get in that donation. Maybe you get paid today or something and you want to kick in $10. There is still time to do it. extra-life.org/team/SSG. Send me a quick PM just saying, hey, this is so-and-so. I donated $10 on Friday the 15th. Give me my stuff. And I will make sure that you do that. So, and you can find out more about what you can actually get for incentives, both for Extra Life and Movember here, over on the Lotro forums. I'm giving out some in-game community titles, community giveaway loot list items, and a few other cool things like that. So if you're interested, please check it out. So the other thing that does continue is Movember. Now, Movember is something I do in the month of November, and that's why I got just the mustache here, because the beard's all shaven off for Movember. I am hoping to raise $2,000 for Movember this year. I've been doing it since 2013, and as you can see, I've raised more than $19,000 since 2013 for Movember. This particularly helps people with prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, male suicide, veterans suicide, and other kinds of mental health related issues there. Movember is largely a charity targeted toward men's health issues, and the reason for that is because us dudes don't tend to do this kind of thing otherwise. So we really, at the effort of Movember, especially for me in recent years, has been to really focus on the mental health aspect part of things and make sure that people ask for help if you need to. It's okay to ask for help. If you see someone in trouble, clearly, it's okay to reach out and ask them if they're okay. And it's also okay to take action on their behalf if absolutely necessary to save their life. And that's an important cause and something I try to underscore every year through this Movember effort. Mobro.co/Jerry Snook. Mobro.co/Jerry Snook. If you would like to kick over a couple bucks, the same basic incentives for Extra Life this year as carrying over into Movember. Ideally, I'd have different things for each one, but hey, that just wasn't in the cards this year, so fine. Soft Snake Gur is saying any updates to NPCs in general in the near future. That tends to be content specific. So I would imagine when we have an opportunity to see and correct something, we will. Speaking of which chord. I did not open the boxes outside of the instance because I didn't remember. Yep. So, addressing of stats or itemization, I see. So, we did do a little bit of work in the patch that was done this week related to itemization. And, that's an ongoing concern that we'll be continuing to work on in the future. Did it make it into necessarily this patch coming up for Monday? Sounds like not, but if there's further work to do, I'm sure they're aware of it, and we'll probably be doing that work. I know that some rebalancing was done this week on our patch 25.0.1. So make sure that what you're thinking about did not get fixed this week in those release notes. Nothing new to announce regarding the 6-person instances other than they are being worked on and they are next, and we should have some stuff to preview here, I would imagine, in the not too distant future. Yes, Chromix, I have seen the thread about Tier 3 instance feedback, gearing process, and crafting. When we are making changes, you will see it in the release notes. At this point, with the patch coming up on Monday, the Tier 3 instances should now be back, so hopefully you'll have better stuff to judge against. And let's see what happens there. I will have to follow up on the Guardian Legendary class item for now. I would suggest taking one of the other items that are available there. Curator will be announced when it returns in the future. Nothing to announce there. What day does Winterfest start this year? Off the top of my head, I think it's December 13th, I think. And that's over on Crick Hollow. Sorry about accidentally calling it Landreval on the beacon for a little bit. Two-handed allies rolled with agility that should not have. That is something I saw, I know is on our agenda to be fixed. My understanding is that will get versioned back to existing items. But stay tuned for a release note on that. Nothing to announce regarding the Wen of Carryalls released in the Lotro store. Sorry. Any update on the sigils for the reputation vendor? There is nothing worth bartering other than cosmetics. Kind of disappointing for a paying expansion. Feels thin and empty. Sorry, Jan, for not meeting your expectations there. I do not have anything to announce regarding an update on the sigils for reputation vendor, but we do have other content coming out post-release here, so perhaps we can address that in the near future. Yes, John, the first boss in the Filthwell instance is getting worked on. It's not always resetting properly. That will be in for Monday's patch. Nothing to pass along regarding adding starlets and scrolls to the new vendors. Any word on, quote, fixing the Mac Catalina launcher? Unfortunately, no. Our official statement on that is that we are supporting the Wine client for Mac OS up to Catalina, but not including Catalina. And so if you wish to play using that game client, unfortunately, you are going to have to be using an operating system prior to Catalina. Twere it's not so, but alas. We do have the new Hobbit Gifts UI that seems to have been getting some pretty good feedback from the community. It's largely just some kind of new stuff and new look, new UI, but I think it looks pretty alright. So we appreciate all the kind words we have seen about the content for Minas Morgul in the weekish about a week since release, and so that's pretty awesome as well. This is how I roll. Yep. Stairs schmares. That's what I say. All right. So it sounds like, you know, maybe we're not there yet on all the post-release stuff, but we're getting there. So we did have our one patch, you know, earlier this week, and you could find the release notes on that live. And then, you know, we got some additional stuff coming. So we'll see where we end up with the final release notes and release date on that. But that's the stuff that's currently being worked in addition to the 6-person instances that'll be coming. And then some initial work is underway on the raid itself, although that's a little bit further off. Oh, how did my allies do? Yeah, sure. So I got, I ended up choosing the Champion's Rune of the first stage. I don't know, just seemed like halfway decent there, so that's what I did. And then for my other one, I want the Sword of the first stage. Yep. Yes, OB87. We do have future plans to promote the game. As a matter of fact, I believe some of you may have seen kind of a recent ad on, Facebook and Instagram and maybe even Google ad search, things like that. So there continues to be marketing underway. Whether you choose to accept it or not. No, that's fine. But there is. I know the floating name bug is frankly one of the big motivators for doing this second patch, that we were able to get a fix in place for it, and that's clearly been something of importance, shall we say. I will have to follow up on the Stout Axe shouts. I do not have anything to really say about that, other than I have heard folks who have been saying, yo, bring them back. So perhaps we need to do that. Right, dev diary videos, behind the scenes videos. Will that come again? Yeah, we'd love to do that kind of thing when we can. We didn't really have a lot of opportunity this time around, other than there is a Valor 120 dev diary that went out from SSG Red Panda. I know, without a beard, it's not my look either, but there you go. Thanks, Jan. how am I doing? I am doing fine. Yes, Andrew, I'm aware that there are some people that were particularly impacted with a lost lore versioning issue that happened. All I can really say to that is that we're aware it happened, and it sucks. Specifically, there was a thing that got versioned that some people who were in the midst of their lost lore quests ended up having it reset on them. The overall number of people were thankfully relatively small, but for those that did happen to have it happen to them, it sucks-ors. So. So clearly, I am not done with where I think I need to be done yet, because I am still needing to go through and speaking to Skarhaldians. Yep. So, oh, hey, I could mention something about that. So, the specific question is about Shadows of Angmar music on Spotify. That I do not have anything to talk about. I'm going to guess, due to the lineage of that particular piece of content, that Spotify may not be a likely outcome for that. That said, we have got some cool stuff that is going to be going up on YouTube in the near future, and that is Minas Morgul's soundtrack. Bill Champagne, the composer, has been working over the past week here, post-release, to get the soundtrack ready to go, and on Wednesday kind of sent me the final track listing and things like that to convert and get up onto YouTube. And so I'm in the process of doing that right now. It's probably not going to be done today, although that was the original hope. But instead it'll be done, let's say Monday publish. But it's going to be processed and everything today. So that's cool. And that should be out in the near future. And that'll be the Update 25 Minas Morgul soundtrack, done by one Darth Celtics. I know, I'm aware that there may be some other ways to get that Shadows of Angmar soundtrack. Probably the less said about that, the better. We have looked about getting specifically up on Spotify some of this music, and it is going to be a little bit more work than just, for example, uploading it to Spotify. There's some kind of licensing / rights, not issues per se, but just things that would need to be worked through in order to accomplish that goal. I need to get higher up here. I don't have a reasoning on the why of the sigil vendor for Minas Morgul here. All I can really do is pass along people's feedback on it, and see where we go from here. But we do have post content release plans, so it could well be that some of that is just going to have to wait for that, or maybe was already planned for that, and I just need to follow through and get that information to you. Nothing to announce on the other big topic of the day, which is character transfers. Nothing to announce on that at this time. Sorry. We've had discussions about the when and all that, but nothing to formally announce yet. It's something that we are working on, though, and character transfers will be opening first, and should hopefully be happening in the relatively near future. So hopefully we'll have more to say about that in the near future here. For wider itemization questions, I think we're going to have to just refer to the release notes on that. Obviously, itemization has been a big topic of conversation, and we have been reading those threads. And so hopefully, when we have stuff to say and pass along to you, we will be able to do so in the relatively near future. All right, where am I headed? No race changes available yet. As people are aware, that's something we're working on. We know you're excited about it. We're excited about it too. And hopefully we'll have cool news on that front in the relatively near future as well. I'm missing a staircase here somewhere, I think. Nope, nothing over there. How about over here? I bet this is a lookout. Alright, cool. Yeah, nothing really to announce on race changes, but other than it's something we're actively working on. So when we have something to say there, we will. Yes, there are plans to fix those T-posed dwarves. All right. I take the dangerous route. What can I say? I live for danger. Danger's my other middle name. Yeah, I'm going the wrong way. A little bit farther north then. All right. When to expect dev diaries? Well, right now the dev team is basically hard at work on this stuff. I would say expect a. We did a dev diary last week on the Valar 120, so that may be something to take a look at if you're interested. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go back. Living dangerous. Yeah. There we go. For a producer's letter. So, frankly, we had to get out Minas Morgul first, and we've had post-release support to do and a few other things. So the idea of a 2020-ish style producer's letter is on our minds. The topic came up, but we'll see. No kind of timing or anything to announce. I would say late this year, early next year. Yes, we will continue to be doing some class work long term. I don't, however, believe Warden is next. I believe, fingers crossed, that Vastin may be trying to carve out a little bit of time to do some just kind of odds and ends work in addition to, I believe, I don't even want to say it, maybe some PVMP work. So I believe that may be next on the plate. But when I know more, you will know more. I guarantee you that he is going to solve all problems, make everyone happy, and forever change the face of the video game industry. I don't think I'm promising too much there. Yeah, it is exciting, but I want to not overly commit him to something he may not, that maybe there's something I don't know about. I also don't want to get people's hopes up too much about the scope and shape of that work or anything like that. So I would prefer, as I often do with this kind of systems and class-related wants and needs and such, I prefer to let the release notes speak for themselves. Kanjal, I've not heard specifically about that Warden armor set .hot thing, but I imagine that would be something that would be corrected in the short term here, within a short time here. All right. I don't know what I agree, by the way, Robot Baby Tiger. I think we had a placeholder name for that 120 Valor, but I think in long term here, we're shifting over to be a little bit more clear on what it is. So I think it's going to be a Valor 120 is the official term for it. All right, I'm just seeing what else. Nice, Andrew. Yeah, yeah. All right. So I guess I've done that. Let me continue to find more things. So, I've been playing old content for quite some time, and people have been suggesting for quite some time that I fix my stuff, and so I'm doing that with this Valor 120 here. That's what's going on. But yeah, clearly, I spent a couple hours early yesterday just getting all my gear and inventory set up and what have you. So I ended up with kind of a lot of stuff. So I didn't get a chance to do a lot of questing yet on this character, but I did get him ready to hopefully at least not completely just fall flat on the live stream here yet, non-deliberately. Through easily preventable things. Let me just say it, put it that way. Okay, so that's the plan. Yeah. Sorry, Kehehes. Not happy with the Warden Legacy's traits. Pure garbage. Okay. So, let's see, what else? It's kind of gonna kind of be I guess, a slow wrap up to the live stream here today. I don't honestly have a whole lot else that I can think of to talk about. We talked about the upcoming patch, the release of Minas Morgul, you know, the instances are being worked on, and then the raid. We got the Harvest Math Fest extension is officially done. We are, in the short term here, going to be finalizing our calendar for the rest of probably through Q1 2020. So hopefully that'll be out on the event calendar here within the next couple weeks-ish, something like that. Yeah, Tholoth, I have passed along that suggestion that Endless Scrolls of Empowerment be available from the new Minas Morgul barter to the team. And if we end up doing something there, I will let you know. That. So I feel like this would be a good place to scout, but this thing isn't really telling me, huh? Any chance to update Lotro forms, like replacing this old Helm's Deep image that takes hours to load? Well, it should not be taking hours to load, that image. We do have very loose plans. Oops. Oh no, I got totally stuck. That's fine. I'm going to kind of wrap things up here early anyway. Where do I have? There we go. All right. But yes, on the forums is the question, or is the answer. We don't have a time for it yet. I would estimate 2020 sometime. And the intention is to do some work to update the Lotro.com in general and the forums in particular. Probably switch out to some kind of vBulletin cloud-based solution, although that is still open, an open question, but something like that. We would probably place the existing forums in a read-only state and preserve them long-term so that not only could people copy stuff into the new forums if they wanted to long-term, but they would also be able to access that information and their links would be preserved and that kind of thing. But the idea would be to create really from scratch version of the new forums in a way that is updated and supportable long-term that would also detach the forums from your game account credentials so you would not need to use that to log into Lotro.com. There's some logistics. That's a fairly big, ambitious project and some logistics, but that's on our agenda to do hopefully within the next, hopefully in 2020 here. So. Druid's Fire, on her show later this afternoon, will be giving away an Ultimate Edition of Minas Morgul to one lucky viewer. Must be following her channel at /Druid's Fire and be a present to win. Kahes, yes, I already answered your question. I'm aware that you are unhappy with the Warden legacies and traits. And as soon as I have more information, I will let you know. Please show us my house. Okay, it's pretty basic. This is the kinship one. Have some stiff. We just play around in here. It's not a exceptionally used space, but we dig it. No specific date to announce for the return of Character Transfers Mysterio on YouTube, although that is something that hopefully we'll have news on in the near future. When will the beacon drop today? Probably within the next 2 hours. Probably going to get back to my desk. I got one other thing I need to do first. And then I'll be publishing the beacon in a little bit. So like I say, we have a pretty basic but fun kin house. I have not heard of plans to redo Hobnanigans, although I think that given unlimited time, that would probably happen. But I've not heard of anything specific to update Hobnanigans. Tholoth, the idea of an upvote, downvote option, kind of Reddit style for the forums, is one that I would be interested in discussing more with heavy forum users of the Lotro forums to see what your preference is on that. My personal preference is I don't know that I like upvote, downvote forum threads in general. I prefer a more democratic, I guess, and just kind of... I guess I would be curious as to what the benefit of that would be. That would justify doing it. But I'm not opposed if ultimately the Lotro forum community was like, no, we want upvote, downvote. I could go along with that. But I myself feel it would probably have the opposite effect, in that it would cause all sorts of trolling and people bearing other people's opinions and accusations thereof, and would not impact the quality of feedback. But that's based heavily on personal preference, so I would be open to hearing more about that. Yep. Also, I do think you could get more democratic than voting of the relevance of posts, and that's to just show them all without regard to bias. You don't have to up or down vote a thread to be able to see it. Just everything gets seen, so it's fully democratic. Your ability to view and or read. I have not heard of more class set bonus work being done, although as a means to support class build diversity, that's always a goal of itemization. All right, I think that's actually going to wrap it up with the show here for a few minutes early. We have got Corey Olson hitting the live stream here in a few minutes. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. As stated earlier, Druid's Fire is going to be giving away an Ultimate Edition of the Minas Morgul expansion. This is the final weekend for Extra Life, so if you want to donate, get that donation and send me a private message on the forums. I'll be doing the drawings on Monday. We also probably have a patch set in place for early next week, and hope everyone enjoyed the show. See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.